Here's one thing that nobody tells you about plant-based diets. This is something I see people get wrong all the time, and it's actually one of the biggest reasons why people quit this diet within the first month or two of being plant-based, or they've been vegan for like 4 or 5 years. This is a thing I see time and time again in the ex-vegan testimonial videos that people are getting wrong. And actually, if they just fix this one thing, it could change everything. They could find a level of consistency and sustainability with this incredible approach to nutrition that really is all they are looking for. And it's just so crazy to me that this is barely covered in the introductory videos and the articles that you'll find on, oh, here's what to do when you're new to a plant-based diet. This barely gets covered. Massive mistake I see time and time again. Very quickly, we're in a different setting. It's the first video in about 10 where we've got no meal of the day. Don't be disappointed, guys. They'll come back. We've got no meal of the day. I just wanted a little setting change here from my kitchen all the time. Truth be told, it's messy. That's why. That's the honest reason why. It's quite messy. Here's the thing then. You are at so much greater risk, I am speaking generally, I think most people, I should say, are at so much greater risk of undereating on a plant-based diet than an omnivorous diet. And this is because the caloric density of many foods under the plant-based umbrella, depends what you eat, but many foods, again, we're speaking general rules of thumb here, many foods under the plant-based umbrella have a very low caloric density, and they're incredibly self-limiting compared to lots of meat and dairy products, because the fiber content is so high, the volume to calorie ratio is so advantageous from a weight loss perspective, but the risk that you actually consume too few calories because you can get so full from these bulky, whole, fiber-rich plant foods means that I think people are at more risk of undereating. Again, it depends how you structure, how you compose your diet precisely, but generally, again, speaking generalities, people are a much greater risk actually of undereating with this way of eating versus being omnivorous. This does not mean this way of eating is dangerous or unhealthy. You need to do, with any diet, you need to do the proper dietary planning. But people always blame the bloody vehicle, excuse my language, but they do always blame the bloody vehicle instead of the driver. So they never take responsibility themselves. This is what I see in the ex-vegan testimonials. It's like, well, I didn't feel nourished, I didn't feel satisfied. That's automatically and arbitrarily the fault of the nutrition approach, is it? That's nothing. It's nothing to do with you. Like, what were you eating then? It's not the fact you were only eating 1,200 calories a day as a 6 foot very active male. Oh, it's nothing to do with that, right? It's the diet's fault. Well, the diet's flawed. Come on, mate. Take responsibility for this stuff. I see this over and over again. So make sure. I know I cover weight loss a lot on this channel here and body recomp. It's a lot of my videos are about this because the obesity epidemic is incredibly real. That's why I cover this stuff. It's my job, but at the same time, you don't want to be in such a deep calorie deficit, whether knowingly or not, that you are ravenous and you start thinking there's something wrong with this nutrition approach versus actually I'm just undereating. And here's why I'm maybe far more likely to undereat when I eat lots of whole plant foods, whereas when I've actually got some animal products in my diet, or certainly like lots of protein, maybe it's not just being omnivorous, but it's having lots of processed foods in my diet as well. So this is what no one, I feel, obviously I'm speaking hyperbolically here to make the point, this is what I feel doesn't get covered. Like, what virtually nobody covers in this space is that you're actually more likely to undereat. Nobody wants to say this for one reason, because we all want to sell it, right? We all want to pitch it, but just being honest, like, I know, I see people come to me all the time and they're like, I don't feel quite right. Right. And I don't know, this happens across the diet spectrum. I'm not saying that when people go plant-based, there's a disproportionate amount of people that don't like it or have teething issues with it that's disproportionate to other diet methodologies. I want to make clear, I hear far more positive testimonials about this way of eating than others. And I say that trying to be as honest and unbiased as I possibly can. I've got my biases. I've been doing this a long time. I've been doing this for 10 years. So you know where my flag is on the sand. Like, you know which team I'm on here, if we're to put it in such binary terms. But I would like to think I can be pretty honest about this stuff. And yeah, I hear as many positive testimonials as I do negative, far more so, frankly. It's completely disproportionate versus like the keto people. However, at the same time, I do still hear this loads and loads and loads. This is a message I get on Instagram constantly. It's a message, you can see this, you can scroll down in my videos on YouTube comments, and you can see that people are totting up, because I tell people to do this in some of my videos, and they write me back, and they're like, Ryan, thank you so much for telling me to spend a couple of days using Chronometer. I've realized I'm eating 1,300 calories a day. And I'm like, oh, well, that's where you're going wrong then. Oh, I don't feel quite satisfied on a plant-based diet. I'm thinking of going back to XYZ. It's like, what are you eating first? That needs to be the first line of inquiry, because sometimes the fix is just in front of your nose and it's a small thing, and then you could have all the success in the world. You could truly thrive on this incredible lifestyle if you're just making sure you're eating enough calories. Calories are fuel, guys. Nutrients are important, but calories are fuel. You're going to crash and burn if you're not eating an adequate calorie amount. And if you're thinking, but I want to lose weight as well, Ryan, that's fine. There's a solution to all this. There's a reasonable middle ground, which is you're in a caloric deficit that obviously helps you lose weight, but you're not in such an aggressive caloric deficit that you're going to crash and burn, okay? And that you're going to be starving and not feel your fittest, healthiest, most active, most vital, energetic self, because you've eaten 1,000 calories a day. That's no good. So you want a small, not aggressive calorie deficit. Again, this is one of the key tenets of Slim and Sustain. If you want help losing weight with this incredible plant-based way of eating, click the link down below to learn more about joining Slim and Sustain there and getting coached by me personally there. But yeah, my point here is make sure you're eating enough. Not too much, but the point of this video is certainly not too little either. This is the mistake. For some reason, nobody, again, speaking hyperbolically, is covering in the plant-based community. Don't know why. Everyone talks about protein and what to do about B12, but I think this is one of the really big reasons why people quit this way of eating very prematurely. Because they come here, they fill their diet with lots of salads and lots of whole grains, lots of beans and legumes, really healthy, nutrient-rich food. When you tot up the daily calories, it's like, oh, I can see why you're still thinking about meat and dairy products. I can see why you want to go back to eating, really, maybe it's still vegan, but they want to eat like all the vegan junk foods and whatnot. It's because, you're not getting enough calories from whole foods to truly feel satisfied. Because whole foods are really filling, but are you going to get to that point of satiation if you're eating lots of whole foods, but the calories are still no? I argue no. This is a whole other video in itself, but I think one thing I've seen in my 5-6 years of coaching here now is there's a very big difference between being full and being satisfied. And there is overlap, often in many cases, between those two things, but they are not always one and the same. They're not always symbiotic. Anyway, made my point. See you soon. We'll be back in the kitchen.